Hi there, my name is Monet, and I'm going to be going over a performance nutrition plan for our specified individual, whose name is Earl. Uh, so for this scenario, our athlete is Earl, and he is a competitive endurance swimmer. He is 5 feet. He is 5 feet 3 inches tall, and he weighs 150 pounds, which is about 68 kilograms. And in our original scenario, Earl was a type 2 diabetic, but for the purpose of this portion, we're going to be assuming that he does not have diabetes. And we're going to continue with the idea or the assumption that we need to provide a meal plan in order to make sure that he is properly supported when it comes to his metabolic needs, his energy needs, all of that good stuff. So the primary goal of this nutrition plan is to provide him with enough energy to support endurance swimming and to maintain his glycogen stores, promote energy between training sessions, maintain adequate hydration. And we know that swimmers can be involved in prolonged periods of high volume training. And so his adjusting to his needs is of the utmost importance, making sure that he's fueled sufficiently before exercise. Let's see. So now we're going to be discussing his daily macronutrients. Earl's macronutrient recommendation is based on his body weight, which is approximately 68 kilograms. We know that carbohydrates are especially important because they provide a major source of energy during exercise, and specifically for Earl, a major source of energy while he's participating in his swimming activities. And it's going to help him replenish his muscle glycogen. His carbohydrate intake will range from about 6 to 10 kilograms per pound, kilograms per day. And with 408 to 680, I'm trying to read the picture, 680 grams per day, depending on his training load. Protein will be about 1.6 to 2 grams per kilogram per day, or 109 to 136 grams to support muscular repair and adaptations. Fat will be about zero point 0.8 to 1 gram per kilogram, or 54 to 68 grams per day. These amounts can be adjusted based on the intensity and the duration of Earl's training. Alrighty, hydration and fueling. Hydration and nutrient timing are also super important, extremely important for maintaining Earl's performance. Before swimming, he should consume about 5 to 7 milliliters of fluid per kilogram of body weight, 2 to 4 hours before exercise. And for Earl, that is about 340 to 480 milliliters. And during longer training sessions, which he is supposed to be performing, he should replace fluids regularly, and he may also benefit from carbohydrates and electrolytes, especially during longer or prolonged workouts. After swimming, the focus should shift to rehydration and recovery. He should also replace about 150% of the remaining fluid that he lost during exercise, and consume carbohydrate and protein to begin to restore glycogen and begin to repair muscle tissue. Foods that are going to be beneficial are going to be foods such as oatmeal, fruits, bagels, sports drinks, smoothies, and lean protein. All of these can be used in and around his workouts to help with the recovery efforts. All right, supplements and supplementation. Supplements should complement Earl's diet rather than replace adequate nutrition. It is important to make sure that we take account of what he's already consuming and make sure that we fill in the gaps. There are recommended daily allowances and regulations when it comes to certain types of nutrients that we need to be incorporating into our diets just to make sure that we're maintaining bodily function, keeping our bodies at homeostasis. And so it's important to make sure that we know what he's already consuming so that we can fill in the gaps. Creatine is one of the most researched supplements out there, and it may support strength, power, um, enhanced training adaptations, which can be very useful for an endurance swimmer who performs resistance and high intensity training. Caffeine is another one, another good and useful one that can also be selected for him before training sessions or competitions, because research supports its ability to improve endurance performance and reduce perceived exertion. Other supplements may also be considered depending on Earl's individual needs, but they should be evidence-based and used carefully. Overall, I would prioritize Earl's carbohydrate intake. His hydration, meal timing is another important one, and recovery nutrition before relying on supplements, because they should be something that we use to fill in the gaps rather than our first mode or method of making sure that we're getting these important nutrients. Next slide. 7-day meal plan. So this is an example of how Earl could apply these recommendations that we've discussed so far throughout his entire week. His meals include carbohydrate-rich foods such as oats, rice, pastas, potatoes, fruits, and whole grains. These are going to support glycogen availability, and protein sources are also extremely important. We need foods such as chicken, turkey, fish, Greek yogurt, eggs, and lean beef. These are all going to be distributed throughout the day to support recovery. Snacks are also strategically included around his workouts. For example, we've got fruit included with a protein shake, and yogurt and granola, and rice cakes and peanut butter or smoothies, for example. Portion sizes should change depending on the training demands for the day. On higher days or more intense training days, he's going to have a different recommendation and a different goal for fueling with his meal plan. So, and then on longer, more intense swimming days versus short, not as high intensity days, those are going to be different. Earl is going to consume toward the higher end of his carbohydrate range on the heavier, more demanding days. Why does this work? Overall, this plan is designed to support both Earl's performance and recovery, two very important things, and making sure that he has sufficient carbohydrate in his diet helps to maintain glycogen stores and provides energy for him to continue his endurance swimming. Protein supports muscle repair and adaptation, while the fats in his diet contribute to overall health and provide an additional energy source for him. Hydration and electrolytes help to maintain the fluid balance and thermoregulation during training. Those levels fluctuate during training, especially at higher intensities. And proper nutrient timing also helps Earl begin exercise properly fueled and properly recovered afterward. One of the most important parts of the plan is consistency. That might be the most important thing, is consistency. By adjusting his food and fluid intake according to his training needs and guidelines, including the sources, our textbook. It's important to make sure that we are making sure all of the recommendations are evidence-based, science-based, and backed and heavily researched. One thing I'd like to change, or one thing I'd like to add, is there would be slightly different recommendations if we were considering Earl to still be a type 2 diabetic. But again, for the purpose of answering this question, Earl is an athlete with no type of disease. as far as we know. So thank you for listening.